Welcome back to the Training Truths podcast. I'm going to teach you today about fat loss, how you can lose the fat, how you can keep it off, roadblocks, things like that. I'm going to cover everything you need to know to be successful. So make sure you stick around to the end. So this is what it looks like. In order to lose fat, there's a concept you have to know about, and it's called calories in versus calories out. So when we eat, we're taking calories in, and when we're doing anything with our bodies, we're expending calories, okay? So that's what you need to know. In order to lose fat, you need to be taking in less calories than you're expending. And when you're doing that, what happens is your body is going to take calories from your body in the form of fat and use those calories for energy to make up the difference. So let me kind of put it in numbers, and this will make it hopefully easier to understand. So like let's say you burn in totality 3,000 calories a day. That's how many calories you burn from BMR, which is your basal metabolic rate, which is basically you're just laying in bed, you're doing nothing all day, okay? So you do absolutely nothing, you're laying in bed, you're burning calories just to stay alive. Non-exercise activity thermogenesis, this is like you're walking around in the office, I'm moving my arms right now, I'm burning calories. This is non-exercise activity calorie burning, thermogenesis. The third one is you burn calories when you eat food. This is called thermic effective food. And the fourth is exercise. All of that together is total daily energy expenditure, okay? So that's total calories out. So let's say your maintenance is 3,000. That's your total daily energy expenditure. If you eat 2,500 calories during a day, that means you're creating a calorie deficit of 500 calories, where your body has to get those calories from somewhere. And so where it's going to get it from is your fat stores. Your body's going to break down fat for calories and use that fat for energy. Hopefully not muscle, hopefully fat, right? If you're doing the right things, which we'll talk about. So you're creating a 500 calorie a day deficit. That's important because if you don't have a deficit, you're not going to lose fat. If you're eating at maintenance calories, you're not going to lose fat. If you're eating more than maintenance calories, you're going to put on fat or you're going to put on muscle, depending, or maybe a combination of both. But right now, let's focus on the deficit, okay? So you need to figure out what your maintenance calories are, number one, okay? And in order to do that, you can just go to like tdeecalculator.net, type in your information. That's going to give you a maintenance calorie number, okay? It's a projection, it's not perfect, but it'll get you in the ballpark. When you're doing that, what I recommend is that if you're exercising 3 days a week or more, this can be even just like going for walks, like dedicated exercise, you pick moderate activity level, okay? So it's going to spit out a maintenance calorie number. Once you figure out that maintenance, you're going to subtract 300 to 500 calories from that, and you're going to eat that amount of calories every single day. So if it's 3,000 calories a day maintenance, then you're going to eat 2,500 calories a day, 2,500 to 2,700 calories every single day. If you're doing that, you're creating what's called a calorie deficit, and that calorie deficit means that your body's going to make up the difference between maintenance and the calories you're eating by burning fat, and therefore you're going to lose weight. Now, what else is important to understand? So, yes, you want to make sure that you're eating at maintenance every day. You have to track it, okay? Like a lot of you are like a lot of you think you can estimate this. You cannot estimate it, okay? They've studied this, and people either over or underestimate how many calories they're eating by 40 to 50%, and they overestimate how many calories they're burning by roughly 30%. And so our estimation abilities, especially if you haven't ever tracked, are really, really poor. So you need to track your calories, at least in the beginning. You need to track everything that you eat, everything that you drink. That's number one. Number two, you need to plan it before you eat it, okay? It's not gonna work well if you eat it and then you go in and track it. Like that's not gonna work well. You need to have a plan. And so what I suggest that you do is you get like MyFitness app, MyFitnessPal, or any like calorie tracking app. The best ones that I've heard of, MyFitnessPal and Lose It. You're gonna type in what your calorie targets are, okay? Based on maintenance minus 300 to 500. And then you're going to pre-track your food for the next day. Okay, so before you even get to eating your food, you're going to type in the food that you're planning on having the next day, and then you're going to eat that food. And so what this means for a lot of you is you're going to do like food preparation either the day before or for the whole week or for half the week. However, you need to make sure that you're eating the food that you're planning on eating, and you need to make sure that you actually have a plan with the food. So how does this work? I'm going to make this simple for you. Let's say for your daily macros, you need to hit 150 grams of protein and 2,000, let's say 2,100 calories, okay? Let's say that's your goal. And you're gonna eat 3 meals a day. So what that means is each meal needs to have 700 calories and 50 grams of protein. And so then you're gonna make those meals, okay? So you're gonna make sure you put in enough protein in that meal that it has 50 grams and that it hits the 700 calorie mark. And when you eat those 3 meals for that day, you're gonna be at 2,100 calories and 150 grams of protein. So you need to have some pre-planning. Even if you go out to eat, you're planning on going out to eat the next day, you need to pre-plan it, okay? So step one, find your maintenance. Step two, plan the calories before you eat them. Step three, make sure that you are not trying to track your calories after you eat it, because it's just not going to work. Like that people try to do that all the time and they end up way overeating or they end up way under eating. Number four, you need to make sure that you're not like significantly under eating either. Okay, like there is such a thing as eating too little, and that can impede your progress because it changes your hormonal state. I'm just going to leave it really simple and just leave it at that. You should be eating a 300 to 500 calorie a day deficit. Do not ask me if you can do a 1,000 calorie a day deficit. Okay, no, you can't. You can't do a 2,000 calorie a day deficit or a 1,000 calorie a day deficit. You need to do 300 to 500. You need to be patient. Aggressive deficits lead to aggressive rebounds. They're not adherable. They don't work for most people. So instead, do a 300 to 500 calorie a day deficit. So you're gonna do a 300 to 500 calorie a day deficit. As far as what I recommend that you focus on, just like keep it simple, is focus on calories and focus on protein. Okay. Yes, like in my coaching groups and my full coaching, I give you like all the macro breakdown, and that's helpful because each macronutrient has an impact on your hormones. But for just like simplicity's sake, for like this video, focus on protein, focus on calories. So you're gonna do calorie deficit 300 to 500. I'm just gonna keep repeating that. And for protein, if you have less than 30 pounds of fat to lose, you're gonna eat your body weight in grams. Just keep it really simple. If you have more than 30 pounds to lose, you're gonna eat your target body weight in grams. So if you're 300 pounds, you wanna be 150, you're gonna eat 150 grams of protein a day. If you're 180 pounds and you think you have less than 30 pounds to lose, you're gonna eat 180 grams a day, okay? Just keep it really simple. So you're gonna focus on calories and protein. You're gonna plan your meals, and you're not gonna track, like you're not gonna not have a plan and eat a meal and then track it. You're always gonna have a plan. You're always gonna pre-track your meals before you eat it. That's gonna make it really simple for you. Now, let's get on to exercise. Basically, like what I want you to aim for, the minimum bar is for you to exercise 3 hours a week or more. Okay, so the minimum is 3 hours. I would have you divide that up at minimum is half of that in weight training and half of that in cardio. Okay, like this is proven by research to be the minimum threshold that you need to hit in order to get long-term longevity benefits. Okay, so you need to be doing 3 hours. You can spare 3 hours a week. All right, like tough love, but you can spare. So 3 hours a week at minimum. Now, what I recommend that you do is that you lift some weights because you want to retain muscle. Okay, yes, you're not going to build muscle in a deficit, but you burn calories by lifting weights, and you're going to retain muscle when you're lifting weights. You don't want to lose a bunch of muscle and then have to go back in and build it after you've lost the weight. So it's not just eat in a calorie deficit, do cardio. You should lift weights because weightlifting burns calories and it helps give your body a stimulus to retain muscle. And as you retain muscle, it'll keep your metabolism higher so you can eat a little bit more food. As you lose muscle, your metabolism drops. And so you want to keep your muscle mass as high as it can be. And so you're going to lift weights for at least 90 minutes over the course of a week. That's like 3 30-minute weight training workouts. You can do that. And then at least 90 minutes of dedicated cardio time. No, your steps don't count. I want to see dedicated cardio time, okay? So it's like 30 minutes of weights, 30 minutes of cardio, 3 times a week. That's your minimum standard, okay? How you divide it up, for weights, you can do like push-pull legs or something like that. For cardio, you can just walk on a treadmill, incline, 3 to 5 incline, 3 speed. Try to keep your heart rate around like 135 beats per minute. That'll work for most of you. Now, ultimately, you're gonna plateau, okay? And you need to know how to break plateaus, all right? Like if you're not progressing week over week over week, something's broken in your approach and you probably need help, okay? So you can join one of my coaching groups. They're a really affordable way to get help with this and just learn how to actually do it by doing it. The best way to learn how to do something is by doing it, right? By doing it correctly. And so you can join my coaching groups. But if you are plateauing, then what you should do is not decrease food. That's not your first move, okay? Like you probably don't know enough at this stage to just decrease food. And so what I would instead recommend that you do is you increase cardio. Just do like 5 minutes more cardio each time. That's a really simple way to do it. And then as far as pace, if you're not losing 1 to 2 pounds a week, then something is broken in your approach and you probably need help, okay? So 1 to 2 pounds a week, every single week, that's your target. If you're not losing 1 to 2 pounds a week, then you need to make sure you're tracking everything. Make sure you're pre-planning your meals, you're pre-tracking your meals before you actually eat them. If that's not happening, then you're just in a position where you probably need help because there's too many like confounding factors that might be contributing to that. And so if you're in that position, I just highly recommend that you spend the money and join my coaching group. A lot of you are going to spend money on like supplements and like things like this. You'll get 100x better results by joining the coaching group and getting weight training programming, cardio programming, custom macros, courses. You'll get a discussion board for question and answer. You'll get literally everything you need to be successful in that coaching group. You'll get 100x better results doing that than spending your money on supplements. And I know this is kind of a shameless plug, but it's just the truth. Like the barrier that most people need to get over in order to make progress is knowledge. And so I'm giving you kind of the foundational knowledge. It's easy to implement. Eat in a calorie deficit by finding your TDEE, subtract 300 to 500 from that, hit your protein target, pre-track your meals. If you plateau, increase your cardio by 5 minutes for each day, and do at least 3 hours of exercise every single week, half weights, half cardio, and you should lose 1 or 2 pounds a week. If you're not, then you're just in a position where you need help. Fortunately, help is not that expensive, okay? So those are like the foundational principles to losing fat, and that's what I recommend that you start off with, okay? So obviously if you're more advanced than this, there's some other advanced techniques, but for most people, this is the foundational truth that you need to abide by in order to lose weight. So hopefully this is helpful. Hopefully this steers you in the right direction. Just to summarize one more time in case you didn't get it all, you need to calculate your TDEE, total daily energy expenditure, subtract 300 to 500 calories from that. That puts you in a calorie deficit. You need to eat roughly 1 gram per pound of body weight in protein if you have less than 30 pounds to lose. If you have more than 30 pounds to lose, eat your target body weight in grams, in pounds. Work out 3 times a week. Okay, so 30 minutes 3 times a week for weight training, 30 minutes 3 times a week for dedicated cardio time. Increase cardio as you plateau. That's a simple approach. If you want something laid out for you, join one of my coaching groups. It's the cheapest way to get progress. Otherwise, we'll see you guys next time.